I may not have to move, but hello, this is Kenita Patterson. I'm the homeless CEO, storyteller of poverty. I have something to talk about. So, I want to talk about first to give you a little back history. What I'm doing with Visionaries Incorporated started back in 2011. So, a lot of people know um, that, especially my board members, they know the whole story. So when I started out, I had no clue what I was doing, only that God said, right? And so from there, I want to say what year? I want to say about 2015 ish, maybe around in that time. Actually, matter of fact, 2012, because it takes 3 years for this to happen. I filed my 501c3. It took one of my income taxes and paid the $400 to get my nonprofit status, right? So, excuse me, back then, when I did that, again, I had no clue what I was doing. And also, I accidentally, I say by the Holy Spirit, misspelled my nonprofit when I filed for it. So it read Vision Heirs instead of Vision Heirs Incorporated, right? So I am getting these letters. I'll tell you about these letters because when I tell y'all that people be after me for doing right and talking about poverty and providing real solutions, when I tell you that's real, I was not kidding. That this is my receipt and proof, right? So 2017, I get a letter, and this is after I have been with the group Homes for All and toured virtually the nation as a spokesperson, speaking about gentrification, which is a proximal issue to me because I lived it. I live gentrification, and it is not about growth, as I said when I traveled speaking. I'm all about growth, but growth must include us. It must include everybody, right? And so, um, with that being said, I'm all about growth. Just be diverse, equitable, and inclusive. After leaving the group, after I found out some behind the scenes stuff that people, don't want known in the state or city, a lot of us know that that goes on. Um, After leaving this entity, I became a black token in Nashville, Tennessee, which explains a lot of the things that I go through trying to push forth and going forward. So, just to let you know, I did renew my status in 2020, and that was around the time when my brother got murdered, not too long after that. And so my entity is spelled correctly now, and it's renewal. And then also, um, it's no longer that because the first one was spelled wrong. So I get these letters. One with my name on it, addressed to my church, which I would never put down as an address for me. One addressed to the radio station where I am a radio host, right? So, how did they get this information? I write to the mayor's office. I fill out these surveys that they put out into the community, and I mention these places that I am a part of, and or I recently took pictures and they saw the address to my church van. I would say I don't know exactly, but for you to piece that together and not really even get the information that it's two separate entities, again, I be telling y'all what it be, and nobody really listens, but it is true. So I just say that in the real spirit of being a black indigenous person of color that lives a native to Nashville, there are plenty of incentives for people to come in and develop in our city, but there are zero options for people like me. I know I did a rebuttal to the mayor's state of a Nashville address, and that could be a reason why they're after me as well. But what I need you to do instead of investigating me and your information being inaccurate and you telling me to cease and desist, I have no reason to do so because I am in right standing. I remember Miss Kathy Anderson telling me back in, I want to say maybe 2019 ish, uh, that, which I already knew that my entity was revoked, the previous one. So I'm like, okay, God, what can I do? And he was like, just spell your name right and refile. Just start over. Start your baby over. And around that time, I started having dreams of pushing out babies nonstop. I could feel it. It was not painful, but I could feel the pressure. It's a very realistic dream. And that's what Visionaries is about seeing, like I explained to someone yesterday, it's about seeing. It'll be something that's dilapidated, but I'll see it immaculate and beautiful and at its finished end. And that's what our organization is about. And you'll be seeing a lot more of us. I know I say that a lot, but I back because when I need to, because the Holy Spirit tells me to do so. And I know when to rest. I know when to back. I know when not to say anything about what we're doing. And the showing of, I didn't even take these out of their envelopes, but I will post exactly what it is with my information marked out. But it's literally someone trying to unravel us, and that lets me know my message, my work, what I do. Even if I'm not on the screen telling every step or everything that has taken place, they really be after me. So no, we're not going to do that. I need actual resources and tools that are available through the ones that are investigating me. Instead of doing that, please pass along incentives just like outsiders get to build in the city inclusively, equitably, diversely. Okay, that's what I need y'all to do. Hear me, respond back. I put in these surveys, but I get a letter back telling me to cease and desist because my entity is expired, and that's not even the right entity for the investigator. Just to let you know, I did get my stuff right. Went back and did what I was supposed to do, and you better believe my taxes are already filed before year 3, so that I do not make the same mistake. You have to learn. And the thing about it is, there are places that will teach people about the management of a nonprofit. I didn't know too much about that back then. I knew of the places because I was in those circles before I got banned from them. So I knew of it, but I just was, speaking out about what happened to me and my family because I didn't want it to happen to any other families. So I don't know. And like I said, I was speaking to someone else, and it's all the choices I have made have been for the people. And I could have just simply chose at the beginning to use my Section 8 voucher and get a home and just be stable, period. And I never would have went through the plight of experiencing homelessness 4 separate times, but it was on purpose. It's God's purpose that I went through that. And I had to go through the valley of the shadow of death and fear no evil like the evil trying to investigate, right? So flip that thing around and actually help someone help people in a real way with affordable housing. That's what my ask is. So flip it, reverse what you're doing as far as following me and trying to find a way to unravel me. And that's for anyone, because even though it's those entities governmentally that try to keep people like me with real solutions from doing what we do, you have gatekeepers that do the same as well. And it is a shame for you to be a gatekeeper and you're in the same fight that I'm in. Just bless those people is all I could say. I can only pray for those who spitefully misuse you. And like I said, that was a test. It went. I got that letter before I had to go do praise and worship in service yesterday at church, and then I arrived to the radio station today after I was already late because I take my mother-in-law to chemo, so my husband could go to work finally because he has not been working over the past couple of months. So this is the person, someone in poverty, that is the only income for their family right now, besides my husband being able to branch off and do what he needs to do. That's the family you come after, someone that's already struggling. And in my struggle, I fight for those that are struggling also. That's just like for an example, when I was in transitional housing and I asked a specific thing, and I was asking a specific thing of the continuum of care here in Nashville to be on the planning commission, and I've always gotten denied because of the lack of diversity and inclusion and equitability. You know what I mean? DEI is what it is. So, you know, people would choose to hide you and try to bury you, but you didn't know I was a seed when you buried me. I'm gonna bust out anyway, period. So, and not only just me, I'm just the one that has to stand in the gap and be the vessel, the conduit. If you go back and look at, I have a testimony, that's what the pastor was talking about, how we are conduits of light for the rest of the people who are seeds that will bust out. So, yeah, that part, and it's nothing you can do. This is a game of chess, and it's been checkmate. That's why you need to send and investigate me, which get in touch with me and let's talk about how to move forward and include what I'm doing inside of all the funding that comes into Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah, all the blighted properties, all of the what you see is trash or what is vacant out there, I see is treasure. And other people are going to try to hop on what I'm doing, but God is going to provide everything that we need. I don't have to say a word, even if I tell what is going on. There is no way that you have the full recipe of what God is doing. So I'm going to continue to be a vessel. I'm going to continue to be what God calls me to be. I'm going to continue to obey Him. It's been some situations where I could have chose to just be quiet and worry about my own family, and as I should have. But God, it was meant for me to be a voice for poverty, because guess what? One of the mayors felt like just because people in poverty aren't saying anything that they had nothing to say, and that's a lie. They are blighted from being able to say anything, or it is a whole plight to keep us quiet. And the efforts show in exactly the two letters I have right here. It's two different EINs, two different control numbers to the Secretary of State. Not, is it Secretary of State? Let me get it right. Hold up. To, yeah, State Division of Charitable Solicitations and Gaming, Secretary of State Trey Harvey. So your investigator, which I'm gonna send this video to, needs to know he's dealing with two different entities when you went so far as to check out where I worship and where I volunteer as a host on a religious based show. You hunt me down. Wow. How powerful. How powerful is the mission that we are on? For that to be what it is, but you will not hunt me down when I ask to be a resource. You won't come find me then. You don't respond to me then, as far as the mayor's office or any governmental entity, period. And I'm the one that's going to speak out on this. I don't care how politically correct it is. Ethically, to me, what's happening behind the scenes needs oversight. So don't come for me for not being professional or whatever the case may be. No, I have to speak out about it. And sometimes you got to make good noise. Sometimes you do. So, I mean, this is what I'm speaking, that we need to be a part of the growth of a city that we were pushed out of. That's what gentrification is. Living in proximity of it, having lived experience, that is the poverty simulation. By living it, by being pushed out of a city that you come back to work in to help build it, but you can't afford to live there daily. I have an entire society of homeless CEOs that I know, not just myself. I'm just the one that God gave that title and name to. And it ain't just for me, like I said, it's for others that are going through the same thing, working homeless, working every day, but have to go to a hotel because there's nothing available for them. And that's what we are providing, somewhere for the homeless CEOs to go and be and grow. Because guess what? Regular social services do not wrap around. They do not, teach a person to fish so they never hunger again. So it is what it is. I want to put that out there. I'm going to speak on it, period. No matter how anybody feels about it, it has to be said. So get at me about the right things. I am in good standing and I could show you any document you need to see. I just refiled with Trey Hargett's office not too long ago and got good standing, no pushback, none of that. I'm fine. I just did my taxes before the deadline. So run tell that